Welcome to today's webinar, courtesy of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center right here in Louisville. We're all about hooking you up with free, super secret business coaching and training services. It doesn't matter if you're just dipping your toes in or gearing up for a big expansion. We've got the goods, the tools, and the know-how to help you win. To get the scoop, cruise on over to LouisvilleSmallBusiness.com or hit us up at 502-977-5800. Big thanks for tuning in to today's webinar. Feel free to drop your questions or chat it up with our speaker using the chat feature. Let's dive in.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Toolkit Tuesday. I'm Dave Etkin. I'm the director here at the Louisville Small Business Development Center. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. As always, I'm joined here with my great friend and coworker and comrade in SBDC Arms, Janet Flaw. How are you doing today, Janet?
Doing good, Dave. How are you?
All right.
We haven't seen each other a while on here.
I know. It's been a bit. So
welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, glad everybody popped in. I'm glad everybody didn't forget about us. And so we were just discussing a little bit earlier some technology challenges that I've had here today. So I just want to make sure that everybody can see and hear us well. If you look at the bottom of your screen there, you should be able to see a toolbar. And if you don't, just take your cursor and hover over the bottom of your screen. It should pop right up, and there you'll see the chat feature. You just click on the little chat icon. And then if you wouldn't mind, just say hello and tell us where you're joining from. It's always my favorite part to see where everybody joins from, because we get people from all over the world. So it's really great to see that. So just take 2 seconds. Let me know that you're out there. There we go. There's Lance. There's Alex from Lexington and Louisville. Lance from Louisville. Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Oops. Yeah. Katie, Jeff. Hey, Jeff Jewell. How are you? Good to see you, bud. Yeah, we need to get back together. It's been a while. Yeah. Anybody else out there? No, I can see the numbers, so I can't hide from you there. I can see you. So just say hello. Hey, Roxanne, how are you? Thanks for joining. All right. Hello, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us today. You know, here at SBDC, we work with so many small businesses and startups and entrepreneurs. And one of the biggest questions we always get is, how do I reach my audience? How do I reach my customers? How to increase my sales? Hi, Barbara. So, you know, I always say I have two opinions, which I'll share. Is number one is that as a business owner, you really need to work where your skills are, and if you don't have the skills or the knowledge, then it's time to find an expert to help you. And the reason is an expert, you are good at what you do to make that business go as far as the products and services. So focus on that. Try to bring in the experts to help you with all the other facets of the business to free up your time so you can actually do that. And then secondly, if you can really identify your target market and you can identify the process to reach that market, whatever way it is, you'll be able to calculate what your return on investment is for marketing or whatever you do. So you'll know that if you spend $1 in marketing, you'll get $2 or $3 back. And then once you learn how to do that, and once you figure that out and put it automatically in place, then you can really start to grow your business. So all that being said is a big lead up to, we've invited a couple of really great experts today to talk just about that, to talk about marketing and how you can position yourself and your business for growth by reaching the right people, the right customers, and outsourcing as much as you can, really lean on some people that know what works so you can save time and save money in the long run. So we've invited Katie Creekmore and Alex Smith from Creekmore Marketing. So welcome, guys. I'm going to pop in. There we go. Hello. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited because I've got my pen and paper here and I'm ready to have at it. So let's just dive right in. And I think you guys have something presentation to share with us. So let's just put that up and let's get going.
Absolutely. Yep. Let me get this up here for everyone.
I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself a bit more, tell people who you are and how we'll get how to reach you guys later on. And if you have any questions or comments as we go through, just type it in the chat there, and we'll answer those questions at the end. And so this is a good opportunity for you to have your personal questions answered with a couple of great experts in the marketing field. So don't miss this chance. Take some good notes, keep your questions written down, put them in the chat, and we'll get right to them at the end. So Katie, Alex, I'm going to let you guys have it. Take it away.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Dave, for the introduction, and thank you for having us. It's a great afternoon. Just kind of as Dave said, we're with Creekmore Marketing. So we are a digital marketing agency headquartered in Lexington, Kentucky. So we are not too far away from Louisville for you all that are there. But yeah, we've been in business for 11 years. So we've really gotten to see it all through all the different times that we've had. But like I said, my name is Katie. My role at Creekmore Marketing is I'm a business development manager. So a big part of my position is working with small businesses to find their need in marketing and maybe where they may be lacking, or just ways that we can help them truly grow from a digital aspect. And I'll pass it over to Alex to introduce himself.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex Smith. I'm headquartered out of our Lexington office. Been with Creekmore just over 2.5 years this year, and working with Katie on the business development team. I've had some experience on the account management side, working on those campaigns day to day, as well as that more consultant approach in business development. I'm super excited to meet you guys and see how we can help.
Absolutely.
So we'll also want to show off just some of our team. These were some semi-recent photo shoots that we've done. We are a team of about 35 going into, I guess, the last part of 2024. So definitely a growing team here in Kentucky. So I think the big part, I guess, big picture of today is why digital marketing matters. With marketing, especially what we've learned since COVID, there's been such a shift into the digital space, whether that's moving away from billboards, newspapers, things like that, to more digital side of things, leveraging things like search engine optimization, Google Ads, social media, and some things that we'll touch on later. But just looking at small businesses in Kentucky, a lot of challenges that we find: limited budget, lots of local competition, and really just a need for visibility. The opportunity that presents itself there, though, is that digital marketing helps you stand out and compete against those larger companies, and it helps level that playing field. So I guess just a question for everybody, and you can just throw these in the comments as well, or the chat. Are customers finding you online? Have you invested into some of those strategies before, whether that's with your current business or businesses that you've worked with previously? Because at the end of the day, businesses are going to be looking for you online. And I think to our advantage as an agency, we get to help small businesses throughout the state each and every day, help grow those online searches. So looking at the digital marketing puzzle as a whole, Katie and I broke it down into 6 essentials that are going to help build that well-rounded digital presence. So Katie, if you want to jump in there.
Yes, absolutely. So we do kind of have this in an order of, the best way, if you're starting your business, this is ideal, but if not, we have plenty of business owners we work with who do it a little bit backwards, but ideally, starting with a strong logo and branding is definitely something that's important, and obviously would play a role in any kind of advertising that you do, from website, social media, anything out there that explains who you are as a business. Why does it matter? Well, obviously, it communicates your company's mission visually, it builds customer trust and loyalty, and it is truly what can set you apart from your competitors. Obviously, I just threw in some popular ones here that everybody would recognize. I feel like at this point, anyone would, even without the actual Nike verbiage, just the check mark itself, or without even having Target. It's something that everybody can relate to, and just knowing what those brands are. So, your logo is definitely, it's not just something that you put together. You definitely want to make sure that it's something that's strategic and it's visual. It should represent your company and all the values that you have. And that's from any kind of element, color, shape. It should definitely all be intentional and not just something that you think looks nice. It should represent what that looks like. Design, you want to make sure that the design elements are communicative. Like, you want to make sure that the line and the shape, they influence how customers perceive the brand. For an example, sharp lines may suggest strength, where curved lines may, convey some kind of creativity or friendliness. You want to have form and balance. So the arrangement of shapes creates a sense of structure, professionalism, or fluidity, depending on your brand's vibe, whatever that may be. And same with color. I think that there should be a lot of thought process that is put behind the color that you're using for your business, where, sometimes blue will convey trust and dependability, while red can evoke excitement and urgency. So making sure you're putting that into thought when creating your logo. And as well as typography and space. So the font style and the way elements are spaced out add to the feel of your brand. So clean, modern fonts often suggest innovation, while more traditional fonts can feel reliable and more established. And, one really good example I like to look at, I think is a great example, is the FedEx logo. The hidden arrow between the E and the X in the FedEx logo is a great example of, great intentional design. It symbolizes speed, accuracy, and the forward motion, which aligns with companies' logistics and delivery focus. So I feel like, this, and it's something that obviously has grown with their business. They've been around for a long time. It's kind of a timeless logo that represents their values 100%. So you definitely want to make sure that with your logo, it's creating a really good first impression. Customers form opinions in seconds just based off of what your logo looks like. So, and a good design ensures that it views your business positively right from the start, and also can tell you who you are, outside of your competitors. And it also tells the story of who your business is. The idea of having a good logo is somebody can look at it and know exactly what type of business you are and the message that you're trying to portray to customers. You definitely want to make sure that your logo isn't just based off of a visual need, but it reflects the brand and the accuracy. So, using your logo makes your mark, I would say. And again, it's what truly makes you stand out from your competitors. Another really good example of good logos I feel like that everybody knows about is our Coca-Cola logo, where it has that red color, which invokes that excitement, that energy, passion, and of course the iconic cursive font where it feels timeless and familiar. So the combination helps Coca-Cola build a strong emotional connection with its audience, and people are often really quick to recognize it, even without completely reading the whole name. It's something that we all know and can relate to. So you definitely want to make sure that you build your company's identity, not only with your logo, but with your overall branding. It's the key to your company's identity. It's what your customers see and how they encounter your company. Rather, it's, through your marketing materials. It's what you're putting out there on social media. It's definitely the bigger picture. And again, what is telling your ideal story. And, some items that, your brand story might need are definitely obviously logo, website, business cards, merchandise, vehicle wraps, flyers, going on and on with whatever promotional materials that work best for your business, having that out there, creating that brand recognition for people to, notice you, especially even if it's not, something that they're currently using. Maybe when it comes to a time where they may need your service or products, it's something that they could look back on or, remember when moving forward or trying to find you online. So when it comes to your brand, you should treat it like a living, breathing entity. You wouldn't let your body go without a full regular checkup or go without exercise or nutrition. So why would you do the same for your business? And, I think that says a lot. And like I said in the beginning, if you don't have a logo, there's so many businesses out there that we've worked with that have been established for a couple of years. And now they're kind of like, oh, well, maybe I should get a logo and start creating that brand awareness for myself. And it's definitely something that can be done, but it's really great if you can start your business with that logo, that branding in mind. So when anytime you're connecting with your customers, they know who you are, and it kind of grows with your business. And then here are just a few logos of my favorite logos that our graphic designer, she's not with us today, but Emma, she designed, and just kind of across these various industries. And, definitely it's very custom and worked really hard to make sure that she was putting out exactly what we just talked about, their brand story, what it means to them and, what they're offering as a business. So the next important step here, obviously we got our logo branding. Once that's figured out, we're moving on to the website design. This is another very important part of your online presence. When it comes to digital marketing, your website is truly your digital business card. It's how people will have a reflection of your business, especially if you're a service-based business, and this is your whole thing. This is where people interact with you or purchase from you or book with you. It's very important that your website does reflect your business well. And one of the most, important things about that in today's world is definitely having a responsive web design. So making sure that you have a website that is optimized for all devices, but, definitely making sure that it's optimized well for mobile, just because, and this number is growing, it seems like every day in today's world we live in, but, mobile traffic accounts for almost, 60% that's out there over desktop, and people are, moving more towards that. And that's how we all look at, I'm sure we can all attest to that. When we're looking for things online, we're usually using our phone. I mean, not that desktop isn't an option, but it's not, the main device anymore. And according to Google, if your users enjoy a positive interaction with your site, they're 67% more likely to convert into a lead or a sale. The next really important factor with a website design and to be keeping in mind, rather you're building out a site yourself, or you're working with somebody, is making sure that you have really good call to actions. The more call to actions, the better, giving people options all over the website to convert, making sure that they're impossible to miss, just kind of like right here, as soon as you get onto the screen, you have options, or having a call to action that kind of scrolls with you throughout the page. That way, finding your contact information is never an issue. You also want to make sure in today's world, giving options. Unfortunately, people don't always want to call anymore. We're finding that more and more. Anything they can do to avoid actually speaking to a person. So if that's enabling text, there's platforms out there to allow customers to text, or web chats, or, doing a form submission. Definitely giving the customer options where they, feel more comfortable about reaching out. And another big thing is definitely, overcoming objections before they even happen. So having things like free, no obligation, cancel anytime, where it's not as intimidating if they do want to reach out as if they're not committed all the way, and they have that opening of being able to reach out for just, more information. Next really important thing, especially in 2024, with Google's core web vital metrics that, has continued since 2021, is your website load speed. Less than 2 seconds, your website should load less than 2 seconds on both desktop and mobile to meet current performance expectations. So this continues, Google is, continuing to emphasize this with their metrics, which measures for 3 critical performance indicators. So one being largest contentful paints, also known as LCP, which measures loading performance, should occur within 2.5 seconds of when the page first starts loading. And then first input delay, FID, measures interactivity. It should also be less than 100 milliseconds. And then cumulative layout shifts measure visual stability. Pages should maintain a CLS of less than 0.1 seconds. So, having a fast loading website, not only does it enhance your user experience, but it is essential for rankings well on Google. Google really does prioritize this. If you don't have a site that loads quickly, not like I said earlier, not only is it bad for your customers, but Google will, not ruin, but, take away some of that visibility for you. So, usually sites that do perform well and have fast load speed usually will see increased leads, conversions, and significantly lower bounce rate. Definitely we'll talk about this a little bit later on. I know Alex is going to touch on it, but if you're running any kind of, paid ads campaign or anything like that, if you're going to invest in advertising that way, having load speed that, isn't ideal, giving people the option of where they're clicking on your ad that you're paying for, then immediately bouncing off because they're not finding what they need immediately. We're pretty spoiled with how many options that we have these days, especially if you're in a competitive industry where, if they don't have anything to know about you or, not related or, wasn't a word of mouth referral, a good amount of the time, if they're not finding what they need, they're just going to go to the next option. So this is something that you guys definitely can do, but if not, we will be sending, if you're interested, we can send over these resources that we can use. So one we like to use at Creekmore when we are doing like a consultation with a client is Google Page Speed Insights. We did provide the link down here if you want to participate and pop your website in there and see where you're currently at with mobile and desktop. But we use this because obviously Google, I think that we care about our visibility there. It's an important part. Everybody's using Google. But it does give you some really good feedback on your mobile and your desktop experience. And what's nice about it is it will tell you things that you can work on or change to possibly help with that experience if it's not at a good score. This is a completely free platform. Anybody can do it. If you don't have the URL, like I said, you can just type in Google Page Insights on Google and you'll be able to get it and put your website in there. I do recommend to do it at least 3 times just to make sure it's not a lag in Wi-Fi or anything like that, but it is super helpful just to know where you're currently at with that. Another design or another tool that we also use is GT Metrics. They do have a free version of this that will also give you more insight of where you may be having issues. What's a little bit different from this is it does not only do a front end perspective, but a back end as well. Like we do see some of the main metrics here that we had talked about before, but it also comments on the structure overall of the site. So another great tool to use. Again, if you guys are wanting these resources, we can definitely send them over to you after the presentation. And this is some of those things that they account for and what they can, give you ideas of what you could work on to change to help with that experience. Another big factor with website design is usability. So, it's important to make sure that your customers can contact you from every single page on your website. And it is important, as Alex will hit on, to have individual pages for your services and for customers to be able to contact you from that. Make sure that it's easy for customers to know what they're looking for. Have what's important and where they can go and navigate themselves right up front as soon as they get onto the website. Make sure your menu operates smoothly on all devices, but also making sure that, they're aware that they can click down on a menu and it's very upfront for them. So easy to find and having individual pages for the services and products you offer, so they go to exactly what they're looking for. And then contact form, and make sure that it's easy to complete. If you're a type of business that does need a little bit more information than just name, address or name, email, phone number, or if you're a B2B business name, then, have that, but make it optional. People don't always want to fill all the forms out. They're just wanting to get a little bit more information without, again, feeling so committed. So how to improve your website for maximum lead generation. A good thing to do is having a powerful offer on your website. So giving your website visitors an incentive to contact you is a more powerful way to drive more leads. It's more effective if you give your visitors option on how to redeem it as well. So this is just one that we do at Creekmore. So we offer a free consultation. So in our eyes, it gives people the motivation to reach out without feeling committed, but they'll actually be able to take something away from the conversation that they'll have with us. So what we'll do is, do a whole free consultation that is a tool they can use, for themselves or with another agency, whatever works. And I know there's a lot that can be done through all different kinds of businesses. I think there's some kind of powerful offer that can be applied, rather it's free shipping or 10% off your first order, anything like that can definitely help with conversions. Another really big thing is trust signals. When it comes to trust signals, the most important factors you want to consider are your customers' testimonials. So coming from them themselves and their experiences is always a really good thing to have. And if you have reviews as well that aren't on Google, but maybe some other third parties like Howls or Yelp or whatever, your business may use, being able to highlight that on your website. And then as well as case studies and statistics. So just kind of back to the testimonials, but being able to prove, using your service or using your product, how that helped them and, how it can essentially help your new customer. And then the last, important thing, all these factors definitely matter, but, the design, the overall design, the feel of the website, it should be up to date. We say that you should refresh or redesign your site every 3 to 5 years, just because trends and things are always changing. For 2024, some big factors to consider is less is more. A clutter website can be overwhelming and increase the risk of a bounce rate. And then make sure you use high quality images. You want to make sure that the image appeals to your brand and your target audience and that they're crystal clear. We would even say if you don't have, not everybody has the capabilities of getting a photographer right away, or maybe not have access to a high quality, phone that gives good images. So if you can't, and you don't have options like that, even just using a good stock photo for a placeholder until you can get that would be better than putting some blurry image up there of your business. Making sure that it's easy to read and navigate. And it's really good too to have feedback, second opinion, just kind of like Alex said, people will come to us for a second opinion, and asking your friends on different browsers, different devices to test and address the website and give them their feedback of what their experience was like on the website. And here's just a few examples of some sites that we would say aren't up to 2024 standards. Just, we have a logo here with some, interesting logo here, and then just a lot of information up top. As you can tell, like the menu's kind of hidden and it's just not optimized very well. And this is just a very overwhelming feel where I can't even figure out, I know it says contact, but it's just overwhelming. So definitely don't want anything like that or anything like this. That's a whole lot to read. Our hero image doesn't even show the face or anything like that. It's just pretty overwhelming to where, for me personally, they want to have something that's engaging. People want it easy. If you have, the ability to do videos or anything like that, that's definitely huge these days. So just making it as exciting, but reflecting your business and, giving people what they're looking for. And this is just a good example of a more, modern, up-to-date website, good, clear images. We got a beautiful logo over here. It's not overwhelming, and the user will know exactly where they need to go for their products and services or whatever it is that they're looking for on the site. And I will go ahead and I will pass this one over to Alex, where he'll be talking about creating a comprehensive marketing plan and becoming the clear choice in your market.
Perfect. Thanks, Katie. So now that we've figured out, hey, website's going to be the cornerstone of my business alongside my branding, really it's where do you take it from here? So I think playing back into those staples and essentials, one of the big things that Creekmore as a whole focuses on is SEO, or search engine optimization, and reputation management. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we are pushing businesses to be the clear choice. The businesses with the most and best reviews are easily found at the top of those search results. So at the right-hand side, did just a quick search for marketing agencies in our local market, and Creekmore happened to sit up top. So we like to practice what we preach here at Creekmore. We push reviews just as much as we advise our clients to. Because even looking at that stat from Bright Local, nearly 4 in 5 consumers say they trust reviews they read online just as much as personal recommendations. So I think just if you want to put them in the chat, just like the hand raise emoji, I'd love to see it from you guys too. How many of you all that are here with us read those online reviews before engaging with the business, whether that's like you're calling somebody for HVAC or you're calling somebody for a design consultation or anything like that? I know for me personally, 9 times out of 10, I am 100% reading those reviews going into that process with them. So the first part to gain said reviews is going to be claiming your company on Google Business Profile. So this is something that's changed on Google in the last 18 to 24 months, shifting from what was called Google My Business previously to Google Business Profile. Allows you to collect and respond those reviews, as well as let customers know, hey, if you have a physical location, come see me at this location, give them directions to that specific spot. And also get phone calls, because at the end of the day, for small businesses, we want the phones to ring. And where most people are doing Google searches, we want to make sure that profile pops up, giving them that call to action to give you that phone call. So the second on the SEO front, one that our team specializes in as well, is finding out what keywords your customers are using when they do a search. So Google also has some free tools, and we can shoot a few of these over as well at the end of the presentation, just to see the different volume of things that people are searching for. So I did a quick one for Creekmore, looking at just marketing company. You can get as granular as like, hey, this is what was the search volume in the United States, or say if we wanted to look just in Kentucky at how common your business industry was. So for me, wanted to look at marketing company because I try to gauge, hey, how important is marketing during fall, beginning of fiscal year type scenario into the current fiscal year. So getting those specific metrics in mind and knowing that, hey, there's going to be interest this time of year compared to say March or April allows for a more strategic planning approach as well. So another one that we like to preach here at Creekmore is having separate pages for your products or services. That allows for Google to have more opportunities to tailor people's searches. So people are looking for longer term searches, especially with Google's new generative AI feature. When looking in Google Chrome and things like that, it is utterly important that we have all of your different services listed out. So say if in our case, if somebody's looking for marketing in Lexington, making sure we have specific pages built out to each of those specific services. We definitely push longer form content. Google isn't as much of a fan of just the short snippets compared to longer, more engaging content. So just wanted to give a couple examples on a few websites that Creekmore has built. One being our own. We like to showcase all of our different services with a few different pages. This one was just a design implementation that we rolled out last year. It's called a mega menu. Gives the readers just a little snippet of each service before jumping headfirst into the page. And then this was another client of ours, Green Thumb Landscaping, once again showcasing all of the different services that they offer on the landscaping front. And then finally, Hog Therapy out of Richmond, showcasing the different types of pediatric therapy services to make sure that we are highlighting the different services that parents are looking for their kiddos. So with a Google business profile, you got to get reviews at the end of the day. Especially in the small business market, we sometimes fight an uphill battle compared to some larger corporations that have some more manpower. So the biggest thing we have is gathering those online reviews, even if it's asking your friends, customers, cousins, family members, mom, dad, getting those online reviews and establishing that client base online is going to be the big thing. Because if somebody goes, oh, well, I've heard this one time, but I go, and it's like it's a reputation check, really, just to see like, hey, the other people have had experiences with this business. Because at the end of the day, people are going to see, hey, do you have all 5-star reviews? Do people have a, I guess, more mediocre experience, or they have a bad experience? So having those reviews online, and I guess the depth of reviews as well, also allows people to get a accurate representation of your business. So then digging into more advanced SEO, this goes into more like website development and things like that, making sure that your website will talk to search engines correctly. We utilize Google's Search Console, which allows for you to see like, hey, these are the pages that are most popular in organic searches on Google from our website, as well as the different searches people input to find your business. So then pay-per-click. Google Ads, Bing Ads, Microsoft Ads are a hand-in-hand best friend with SEO. I like to call them similar to what Google calls with a couple of their campaign types, a power pair. So just to break pay-per-click down, whenever you search specific search terms on Google, you're going to see a ad or sponsored slot in the top, and it's going to say, hey, so say you're searching for marketing and you see, oh, Creekmore marketing, and it has an ad, call us today for a consultation. Those are going to be your pay-per-click ads, meaning you only pay for that ad if somebody clicks on it, which is kind of nice because we're not just we're having a more specialized net, not casting as wide of a net as you would say with like a billboard or other things like that. You are tailoring it to people that are interested in that service. So a key part of that campaign is developing your keyword list. So focusing on those specific searches. So that one on the right-hand side, looking at more of like an e-commerce type business, looking at like summer apparel, having like sandals, bathing suits, jeans, shorts, things like that. And Google's keyword planner is actually free. Like I said, we can send this over with a few different resources as well, just to see what people are looking for on the paid side and just how competitive those are. So next is creating ad text. You want to target your keywords on Google to see what your competitors are using for their ad text too. And like, how can you build on it? So say if you're a small car dealership taking off, you're wanting to go after people looking to sell their cars. So that way you can have inventory for your lot. Punching that into Google, first thing you see are some of those national players like a Carvana or Haggerty for us classic car heads. But then you see businesses like Dan Cummins, local to that Central Kentucky market, that are going up against some of those larger national brands. So it's just making sure that we're staying competitive from our small business angle. So keyword insertion too. Going back to that same Carvana example, sell your car. That way, Google has a AI, I guess, generation piece of their campaigns where you can add your keywords. So say if in the marketing world, we're bidding on social media marketing, we could insert social media marketing into the ads, as well as, I guess, playing off of that search as well. So Google's average ad account wastes 76% of its budget bidding on the wrong search terms. So we work with a lot of different blinds dealers. I work with a few here in the state as well. They'll see searches like duck blinds, shades, glasses store. Like I'm not going to go to Shady Rays when I'm looking for a window shade to keep the dark, nasty rain out of my house. So it's just making sure that we are hyper focusing those keywords and the intent behind those with a negative keyword list. So we can tailor that specific to each industry, and it focuses on just hyper focusing that search. That way you're not showing up in those irrelevant searches. And like I said, playing into that negative keyword list, you don't want to show up for things that you're not, one, promoting, and two, you don't want to show up for things you don't represent. So in our case, we're not going to show up for ads for billboards or print advertising. We're going to show up on advertisement for digital marketing side of things. So then taking it to the next level. So say you run it in-house for a little bit and just needs an extra hand. Partnering with a agency that is a Google partner is going to be your best bet. Multiple agencies around, and Google also has a list of their planner and partner agencies. So that way you can see like, hey, this isn't just somebody that's trying it out for the first time, but more so people that have the experience in the business.
All right. Thank you, Alex. So now we're going to jump into kind of our last pillar, which is social media marketing, which I know we all know and love and probably use ourselves. But it definitely is important for businesses. And I think that there's different industries out there that can use this in different ways. But I think the most important thing you need to figure out, before getting on social media, although it is good to have a presence, where are your customers mostly? If maybe for an interior designer, Pinterest, Instagram would be a great way to move forward, with social media. But, maybe if you're trying to sell e-commerce product, maybe it's a boutique, you're trying to, market for Christmas and get your name out that way. Facebook could be a really good way, TikTok, or if you're trying to sell more of like to B2B, maybe it's, I'm saying this off the top of my head because I just recently worked with one. Maybe if you're selling certain trainings and things that, would help with companies, maybe LinkedIn would be your option. So it's good to really figure out what is the right platform for you and your audience. Obviously, I think it's great if you can post on all of them. I mean, it definitely is time consuming, but you should at least focus any kind of advertising dollars on to at least one or two of those platforms that mostly will represent your business. And then another good thing is to choose a posting schedule. There's definitely tools out there that you can use to kind of, plan this out to where it will automatically post. But, being as active as you possibly can on social media is good, just because, people are scrolling at different times of the day. Our source from Sprout Social says Facebook pages, you should post 1 to 2 per day, where Twitter is 3 to 10 times per day. Instagram, 1 to 3. Instagram stories 2 to 5, and Pinterest 3 to 20, LinkedIn 1 to 2. So having the different variations of platforms, posting multiple times a day, can be really good for your users that are audience or customers that are looking, maybe it's in the morning while they're drinking their coffee, maybe it's on their lunch break, or, scrolling in bed. Definitely hitting on all those different times for your potential customers. But of course, posting once per week is definitely better than not posting at all. In today's world, people are utilizing social media when they're doing their research with businesses. Even sometimes when they do find you on Google, maybe they just want to get a better idea of who you are and, feel more comfortable before reaching out. So having, more about you out there on these different platforms can really help convert leads. You want to engage your audience. So engagement posts are created for a purpose of entertaining and engaging fans rather than just advertising them. We say even 3, or SEMrush says, I would say 3 out of every 4 posts should be engaging. If you can create and if you can be creative and incorporate products or services in an engaging way, that's definitely the sweet spot. Here's a few examples of that. So, here we have a lending company, who's not just posting about refinancing a home. We have them, showing off some of their office dogs and encouraging people to comment with their pet, which is always fun. And who doesn't like to see a lot of furry friends? And then we have Oreo over here, which they do a really good way of, talking about their, actual product, but also making it into kind of a fun game of, hey, will you guess all of them correct? Give us your best guesses of, which Oreo flavor they have and how many people know about them. So, getting people to interact in the comments. And I like this one by HubSpot because I do think that, having something engaging where people do want to read what other goals might be. So when I hit my goal for the month, I will reward myself with. It's definitely very good to be unique and, talk about something that's personalized to your business, rather it's doing a tour and about, I know at Creekmore we'll do like little highlights of individual team members. That's not just about what we do, but maybe it's, things that we like to do or things that we're interested in or our family. So just switching it up, after a while, if you're an HVAC person and you're only posting about HVAC, then eventually that's going to get a little old and people are going to get tired of seeing your content. An important part of this, if you are going to take that time and you are going to, create content and put energy into that, outside of already your day-to-day job, you should definitely boost your posts. Make sure you have that Facebook business page. Don't post from your personal page and utilize the features on the business side of it. Even just $2 or $3 a piece for like Facebook or Instagram can reach thousands more than just nothing. I mean, everything is pay to play these days. If you're not putting any ad spend behind it, then nobody outside of your following is seeing your content. It's definitely a great way to also hit on your exact ideal target audience. You can target demographic, location, interest. It can be very specific. You can also target income levels. If you're selling a high-end product or service that you have a particular clientele that would purchase from you, you can focus on that. So, you're getting more of an ideal customer. We didn't put too much in here about like Facebook ads, but if you're a business that does, some businesses do great on social media. I think it does depend on the industry you're in. I think, where if you are, maybe a hairstylist, I think could be very great for social media. There's a lot of good content you can put out there, before and afters and different hair colors. It could be very fun. And people obviously want to see a large portfolio if they're going to come to you for their hair, where other, companies, maybe like HVAC and things like that, not as exciting or have maybe a lot of content to put out there, but having some kind of ad that's not just on your page and it's off of your page and showing up on your ideal customers can be a really good combination strategy for your business. So that is pretty much our 6 digital presence essential in a nutshell, if you will. And these are the reason why we decided to go with these is just because it is in order of how you should look at your business and build it out over time. So I would like to open up the floor to the chat now so we can answer maybe any questions that you all have. Also just wanted to comment here too, if you're not sure or if you want to look back through any of this information, here is our contact information where you can definitely send us an email. We can send you over some of those sources we mentioned throughout the presentation, but we could also send the presentation too if you feel like it could be helpful. So yeah, any questions, we're ready.
Yeah, let's just leave that slide up so everybody will have your contact info and they want to.
Oh, sorry.
Put you guys up. There we go. Yeah. So if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat there and we'll get right to them. Just as a comment, Brittany said that she has never noticed that arrow in that FedEx logo before. So that was a big reveal. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do have a couple of questions though. I think pay-per-click is such a powerful tool, but unless you do it right, you can really overspend and waste a lot of money. So What's your process for really figuring out what the right keywords are and making sure that you're hitting that? And then more importantly, I think you have a process where you test those keywords over time, or just talk through that again a little bit more specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a whole team dedicated to solely pay-per-click. They live inside and out of Google Ads every single day.
Mhm.
So they do have some different testing features. For Google has what's called different match types for those keyword searches. So some may be a little bit more broad. So some of those keywords may cast a wider net, but some may have what's called exact match, to where you're only popping up if it is an exact match to the search that they put in. So say if you searched Creekmore marketing, you would only get the ad if it is specifically Creekmore marketing. So like I said, our team has a process for what's called, like you said, A/B testing for that. And then over the course of the last 10, 11 years, we've been able to develop a negative keyword list that has also allowed our team to further, I guess, hone in on campaigns from day one rather than starting completely from scratch.
Mhm. Interesting. Um, so do you maybe, I'm just guessing here, do you like, really analyze the competitors and what they're doing before you would target, go through the keyword process?
So I think, to Katie's point from earlier, everybody on our business development team does a free digital presence analysis. So it gets a glimpse into the competition. And between Google and Facebook, both recently, they have moved towards an era of transparency, surprisingly. And you can actually look up your ads whenever they go live on Facebook if you have finished their advertiser verification. And I can throw this link in the chat too if you want to take a look at your own ads, if you guys have any running currently. But being able to see what people are putting out there and the messaging behind them has definitely made it a lot easier
Mhm.
to help tailor some of that messaging.
Yeah. I guess the big thing here too is, like, if you're successful with pay-per-click and you're generating leads and things like that, you also have to have a process to convert those leads to actual sales too. Is that something that you can help people with as well?
I think for us as a whole, I think we focus solely on, I guess, really bringing them in. But at the end of the day, it's for the business owner to convert them whenever they
Hmm.
come through as a call or a form submission.
Gotcha. Okay. Lance asks, how often are people using and interacting with chat bots? Oops, is it worth integrating, or are customers still wanting to just use email addresses or a text message?
From what we're finding, I think that it depends also on your business. If you're, a business that offers a lot of different services, or maybe something that would bring in a lot of questions, it's good to have a chat bot in place to answer, commonly asked questions, have FAQ set up to get that answered right away. But also it is a way, like having a chat bot is a way, in a way, for a customer to be able to, talk to you in real time, essentially, instead of waiting on that form submission to go through, or, maybe the texting thing isn't, for that business. It does just give them another option. I know that, at Creekmore, we have a platform called Amplifying Interactions, and Robin is our chat bot, and we can, set up her to do pretty much anything we want to when interacting with customers. And now I know that AI is playing a big part in that, where they can now develop more over time with that. But yeah, we are seeing that it's definitely an effective way to, capture those clients.
Cool. Here's a couple of questions, kind of sort of go hand in hand. So Barbara asks, what is a good hosting company to go with? And someone else also asked, what are some tips to improve load time speed for your website?
Yeah, I think definitely on the host side of things, it depends on what the website's built on.
Mhm.
Barbara, if you've got it, if you don't care to throw it in that chat, I can give a better recommendation based off of what it's built on, because a few different platforms require a few different types of hosts and things, whether it is a completely custom coded website or one through, say, WordPress and things like that. I've got some ones that I could pass along to you as well. But on the load time, the speed side of things, a lot of it is image size, videos, things like that. Some that we'll find people will put too large of an image or too large of a video on their website and condensing those into smaller file types and things. And there's a few different free resources out there to condense those file types. We see dramatic improvement in load
Mhm.
speeds.
Yeah. Is there an online free service where you can test your website that you know that maybe would help, Barbara?
Yeah, no, we have just kind of what I went over earlier, Google Page Insights, that's completely free.
Mhm.
Obviously we can send all of the direct links to these tools, but you could also just go to Google, type in Page Insights, and right there you can pop your website in and it'll give you your load speed for desktop and mobile, so you can get an idea.
Mhm.
And then it does give you actual recommendations as well below that of what you can do to improve your site. But I do just want to say, there's, depending on the platform your site's built on, some are just not, they're there and they're there to help businesses get something out there, which is great. And I think that that's important. But some platforms, they just aren't as robust and overall just may have more issues with load speed than others.
Susan wants some advice on approach for a super small local business to budget for help in these digital marketing areas. It's hard because I want to spend money on marketing, but there's no guarantee the money will come back in the form of revenue. I've tried a few small projects and paying for a website and social media help and haven't had much return on that investment. That's a common complaint.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I think that's a big part of why, in the front end, before even working with a business owner or recommending any kind of service, we like to do that consulting approach first, finding out more about the business, depending on the industry that they're in, what service is going to work best for them. But also it gives us time to look into industry similars or maybe competing with theirs of what are they doing that you may not be, to give ideas of how you can see more growth. Sometimes social media is a great tool that we just went over. It's great for brand awareness, but it's not always the fit for every business. There's definitely other services out there that could be benefiting your business more than just posting on social media. So definitely, Susan, if you are interested, like I said, we do these analysis completely free. We hear about the experience, and if anything, you get some content to be able to take with you that you can try to implement yourself, or share with another agency or person that you're working with to help implement some of the changes. So it does depend on your industry and how competitive it may be.
All right, my good friend Jeff Jewell has a question. As a small business owner, we have leaned into different partners to piece together our approach: outsourced SEO and Google Ads, social, etc. Our issue is direction. We still need to plan our strategy, like blog to email, breaking out into social pieces. We need to be more intentional looking out, say quarterly versus what feels good that week. We are missing the plan and or an advisor to tie it all together. What do you think about that?
So I think jumping into Jeff's point there, that is a really good point. Having intentionality behind the messaging that you're putting out there.
Mhm.
One thing, and I spoke on this with my BNI group last week, I hound them too. I said, we're entering the last quarter of the year. Now is the time to start making those decisions for, hey, where do I want to be this time next year? Because let's face it, New Year's resolutions are terrible when you make them the day before. So having that planning period, I love taking the last quarter of the year, like, hey, where have we been the last 9 to 12 months? Where do we want to be the next year? And having that advisor, whether that is one person that is managing all of the different efforts or one agency handling the different efforts, having that one person that knows what's coming in from all the different campaigns and where to strategize with that too is going to be the best bet. We've seen some people come from independent marketing consultants that do that on their behalf, or people that do all in one, say with Creekmore. So I guess just to give a little glimpse with our team structure, our account managers would be a main point of contact there. And from there, they would help you plan out, hey, what does this look like 30, 60, 90 days out? Or depending on your goals for your organization, Jeff, looking at a year-long approach.
Mhm. Yeah. Great answer. Thank you. So Barbara has kind of a statement, but I think it's a good question to throw out there. She doesn't have a website. So what would you, how would you start?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I mean, obviously we know that digital marketing is an investment, especially being a smaller business. It can be hard to, work with an agency that may know it because of cost or whatever it may be. There's definitely self-building platforms out there. I think it would truly depend to, I mean, obviously having a website, 100% recommend no matter what business you're in. But it's also important to look at your goals with having your website. It's one thing to just build a website to have a presence, but it's another thing to build a website to do marketing, ongoing, and have, strategies in place. Because if you don't build your website on a strong platform, or a platform that, creates a strong foundation for you, that could definitely play a role in any kind of other advertising that you're doing. Just kind of what we had talked about throughout, the presentation with load speed, and how that does play a factor when you're trying to do ongoing marketing. So when it comes to, platforms, it truly does depend on what your goals are with that. And, if you are planning on marketing, there's some, we can give you ideas of different platforms out there, but you want to try to definitely invest in that, because if your foundation's not strong, nothing else will be.
Mhm. Yeah. Well said. I think that's all the questions we have, and we're at the top of the hour. So I want to thank you both for coming on and spending your afternoon with us. It's been great. There's been a lot of great information, and I think everybody got a lot out of it. So thanks, Katie. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as we pop off here, though, do me a little favor, just kind of hang on when we turn off. A little evaluation will pop up. It really helps us, with what you tell us about what you want to see and how we can improve. So if you just take a second or two just to fill that out for me, I would really appreciate it. So Katie, thank you so much. I'll see you around the state at our next SBDC stuff. So and Alex, good to see you as well. So thank you guys both.
Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Yep. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks everybody for joining.